bless you. God bless you. God, thank God for you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Bless you, sir. God bless you. God bless you. Bless you. Bless you. God bless you. God, thank God for you, sir. God bless you, sir. Bless you, sir.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, one God to whom all praise is due. We thank Him for Moses and the Torah. We thank Him for Jesus and the Gospel. We thank Him for Muhammad and the Quran. If I lived to be 1,000, I could not thank God enough for raising up in our midst someone to make the Torah, the Gospel, and the Quran relevant books for us and our struggle against oppression, and relevant books for the struggling of all human beings who wish to be free and righteous. The man that taught me what I know, the man that gave me the example of the man I'm hoping to become, and that is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet all of you. I greet all of you, my dear and wonderful brothers and sisters of Columbia, South Carolina, and points north, east, south, and west, with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. To our President, Dr. Grigsby, his wife, and family. To student government, student leaders, reverend clergy, distinguished faculty members, to the ministers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Brother Minister Kendall, thank you so very much for your hard work, those who worked with you, and to Dr. Grigsby for allowing us the use of this facility, for the students of this great institution, Benedict College. I cannot express in words how happy I am to be here with you tonight. It's rather warm in here as I can see everybody fanning, but I'm going to hopefully put something cool in the atmosphere to all of the religious leaders who are present. I thank you from the depth of my heart for the privilege of meeting you and being in your company. The political leaders who are present. I understand that there are representatives of city government, state government, and county government. And I want you to know that we are very honored by your presence. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "What came you out in the wilderness to see?" All right. Did you come to see a man dressed in fine raiment? A reed shaking in the wind? All right. What did you come out to see? There are some who would write that and say, we came out to see a bigot. We came out to see a racist. We came out to see a notorious anti-Semite. That everybody on the earth believes is a scoundrel. I saw that in one of your papers, that everybody on the earth would agree with that person that Louis Farrakhan is what they say I am. Evidently, either we are not on earth, I don't think that those students who are here at Benedict would waste their time and stand in lines to be checked, to come here a racist or a hate teacher. You belittle our intelligence.
That's right.
Nor do I believe that religious men, men of God, women of God, who are seated on this dais, the president of this institution, his wife and children, would come and bring their families to hear a man spew out vicious, anti-Semitic words. You belittle their intelligence and their decency. The professors who teach here don't teach their students hate, anti-Semitism, or bigotry. This president, these religious people, teach their students that the root of God is love.
All right.
These professors, these religious people, these students have been taught all their lives that hate affects the hater.
Speak, sir.
They would not waste their time to come out and hear a man preach against everything they've been taught all the days of their lives.
Speak, sir.
You belittle our intelligence.
Speak, sir.
Will the real hater please stand up?
Yes, sir. All right. All right. Speak, Farrakhan. Speak the truth, brother.
Will the real racist please stand up?
Speak, sir.
Will the real hater and separatist and anti-Semite please stand up? I'll sit down.
Speak, sir. You need it. Bless you, Farrakhan. Speak, Farrakhan. Bless you.
We are victims of hate.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
We didn't come to America on the Nina de Pinta or the Santa Maria,
All right.
nor did we come on the Mayflower.
Speak, sir.
We came in the holds of ships
Speak.
brought by those who hated our humanity.
Speak, sir.
I and my fathers, in my fathers, was among those. I have never put a white man in the hold of a ship.
Speak, sir. Speak, Farrakhan. Speak the truth. Speak, sir.
I have never enslaved a white man.
Speak, sir.
I have never robbed a white man
Speak.
of his name, language, country, religion, God. I have never done this.
Speak, sir.
feelings of a hater. I never took your children away from their mothers.
Speak, sir. Speak, sir.
I never put your woman on an auction block.
Speak, sir. Speak the truth.
Never have I done such. I have never castrated one of your little boys.
Speak, sir.
I have never hung a white man up on a tree or burned one to the stake. I have never been a night rider. I have never worked your mother from can't see morning to can't see night for no pay. I never did this. I never broke up a white man's family and deprived the white man of the ability to provide for the children that he produced. I never did nothing like that. I never called a white man a nigger. I never wrote about you in books and called you little black Sambo. Or little white Sambo. I never did that. I never mocked your skin color or your hair. But what you accuse me of is what you and your people are guilty of. I have to defend myself.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Before I can even teach my people, I have to defend myself from your wicked false charges. And if you could kill me,
Come on.
you would delight in doing such, as you have delighted in killing every black man or woman that you couldn't control. So they're angry because thousands of black people all over America in halls like this are coming out to hear what Farrakhan has to say. And I'm not a clown, I'm not a buffoon, I'm not a singer or a dancer.
Speak, sir.
Will the real racists please stand up?
All right.
What is racism?
Come on. Come on. Come on, great leader.
And what is a racist? The word race either means that has a beginning and an ending.
All right.
Or speaking to a segment of the family of man. A racist, the suffix ist denotes one's commitment to and proficiency in dedication to the main word. Therefore, if I play the violin and give my life to the violin and become proficient at playing the violin, you call me a violinist.
All right. Come, Jericho. Speak.
If I study physics or chemistry or biology and become proficient at it, even get my master and doctor degree in it, you call me a biologist, a chemist, or a physicist.
All right, sir. All right, sir.
than if I am born from a people who are oppressed. And I develop my intellectual and moral capacity. And I develop to the point where I can do something to lift my race, and am willing to give my life to see my people free. Then what am I? You, in the positive sense, would have to say, I'm a racist. But in the negative sense, when one human being of one segment of the human family wishes to exalt his people at the expense of another segment of the human family, depriving that segment of what God intended for them to have. And that is no longer a person committed to race. That is a wicked person using race as the manifestation of their evil. And that is what white people have set up in America, not racism, not the love of your race, but the deprivation of other members of the human family to the elevation of your race. Will the real racists please stand on up? You set up the educational system. We were slaves. We didn't have nothing to do with that. All right. When we got into this, the cake was already baked. And your educational system is based on the myth of white supremacy. Right. We didn't set that up. You did it. That's right. No black man is a racist in the negative sense. We do nothing to white people of evil. We do more evil to ourselves and to one another than we have done to anybody. And that's why I'm here tonight, to stop the killing. He calls me a separatist. I'm not a separatist. You are. We weren't integrated on the slave ship. We were on the bottom, they was up top. And when they got us to America, they didn't integrate us on the plantation. We lived in separate quarters. Am I right? We built the big house for them. Some of us got in it. We were called house niggers. But the majority of us lived in the fields under separate and segregated conditions. Have you forgotten? We couldn't go to the toilet with white people. We couldn't eat a hamburger with white people. We couldn't even be buried in the same cemetery with white people. Have you forgotten? It was only 35 years ago that we had to lose our lives just to have a cup of coffee with you in public. That's right. That's right. Beaten nearly to death to go to the toilet with you. We didn't set up no black neighborhood. We didn't set up no black school. We didn't set up no black church. You set it up and put us in it. Talk to me. God said, let us make man. And you said, let us make man into a nigger. That's right. That's okay. Speak, sir. This is your product. And you can tell a tree by the fruit it bears. This is not my product. This is your product. God made these in his image. And you destroyed God's image in them till God is no longer recognized in this people. Your society did this, not mine. I'll debate any scholar, starting with your president. You are lying hypocrites. You want to put on the victim your own evil. And that's why these people have come out tonight, because they know God has given them a champion that will stand up for them, that won't lay down in the face of the enemy's attack. That's why they come. Not because they expect me to teach hate. You are doing the best job of that yourself. And if black folk don't hate you, it ain't no fault of mine. Blame yourself, because you've been working night and day to get black people to hate you ever since we've been here. He's an anti-Semite. What do you mean by that? He hates Jews. What have I ever done to a Jewish person? What has anyone who follows me ever done to a Jewish person? None of these that are with me would ever put a swastika on a synagogue. All right. We honor the house where God's name is remembered. There's not one of us, not one of these that are with me that will burn a Torah, because we believe in that which came from God through Moses. Not one of us. We don't waylay little Jewish children, burn down Jewish schools, stop you from doing business in our community. What are you talking about? I'm an anti-Semite. If I were that, as powerful as God has made my oratory, don't you know there wouldn't be one of you left on the earth if I was that? Don't you know that if I were teaching these people to hate you and kill you, you couldn't stay in here tonight? But you're here. Nobody bothered you, and nobody will bother you, because I'm not that. That's what you are. So you, with your pens, write that down. That Farrakhan guy came to Columbia and got the natives all stirred up. But there's plenty of proof that they who call me anti-Semitic are definitely anti-black. I didn't come here tonight to waste the time of these brilliant young students to teach us to hate anybody. There's enough hate in the world as it is. But I came hoping that I might be able in some small way to impart a little knowledge that will create love in us first, for ourselves. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself.
That's right. That's right.
How can you love your neighbor if you don't first love yourself? And how can you love yourself if you don't know yourself? Since Socrates said, know thyself, that is the prerequisite knowledge. Know yourself. But here's the people deprived of self-knowledge. Then how can they love what they don't know? And how can they unite where there's no love? And how can they generate power to overcome the obstacles in the path of their freedom unless they know and love and respect and unite with self? And who is it that fears such knowledge coming to you? Who is it that fears that you will one day love yourself and then love your neighbor as yourself? And since you don't live next door to white people, then you will have to learn to love your black self and your black neighbor as yourself. Who fears that? Who fears the unity of the dry bones in the valley? Who fears the potential power in our unity that will cause us to end our oppression overnight? It is not I who have such fear. And whenever any leader came to birth among us to produce that kind of an effect among us, the same people that call me hater did to them what they're attempting to do to me. Castigate you first in the media. Generate hatred for you among your people. Then go in their pocket and pay one of your own to take care of that leader who's causing trouble. Any black man who agitates for justice is called a troublemaker.
That's right. That's right. Speak, sir.
Well, Jesus was talking to his disciples one day, and he said, the first commandment is to love God. Not with some of your heart, but with all your heart, soul, and mind.
That's right.
And the second commandment is like unto it, love thy neighbor as thyself.
That's right.
And some smart, legal-minded fellow was in the audience. And he raised a question saying, good master, who is my neighbor?
All right. Yeah. All right, sir.
All right.
They wanted to accuse Jesus of hate.
All right. All right.
So they raised the question to the master, who is my neighbor? Jesus didn't say, your neighbor is John who lives next door. Jesus said, a certain man
All right. Come, Farrakhan.
went down from Jerusalem to Jericho,
Yes. Speak it, brother.
and he fell among thieves who hit him in his head and robbed him of his raiment and left him wounded, bleeding in the road. And along came a priest, and he passed by on the other side. Along came a Levite. He came where the man was and looked at the man and shook his head. He didn't do nothing for the man. He just looked at him and shook his head and went on his way. But the Good Samaritan, traveling that same same direction from Jerusalem to Jericho. Saw the man, went to the man, poured oil in the man's wound, bound up his head, put him on his beast, took him to an innkeeper, went in his pocket and paid the innkeeper 2 pence and said, if it is more than what I have given you, I will repay you on my return. And then Jesus asked the question, which one of these did the neighborly thing? He didn't tell the people to love the thief that hit him in the head and robbed him and left him in the road. He didn't tell him to love the priest that had his holy garments on, but he walked by on the other side. He didn't tell him to love the Levite who came and looked at him and appeared compassionate but did nothing. He said, which one did the neighborly thing? Well, we're in a condition like that. You see, Jerusalem was a city first built by the original people. What do you mean, Farrakhan, the original people? I mean those people from whom all other people originated. Now, don't call me a racist. Don't call me a hater. I'm just telling you that Jerusalem was a city first built not by the Jews, but by the original people. It used to be called Jebus, also Salem, also Ariel. But when the Jews took control of it, they rebuilt it and called it Jerusalem, meaning founded in peace. But Jerusalem has not known peace since it was so-called founded in peace. And even the Bible warns that when you see Jerusalem encompassed with armies, don't go in the house, come down off the roof, because the end is in sight. And now Jerusalem is encompassed with armies. And President Bush has invited the armies of the world into the Gulf. That's right. The Bible says, I will gather all nations down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. There will I plead with them for my people, whom they have sold. Jerusalem, first built by the original people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us we are not black because we're cursed. We are black because we are the first life out of darkness. Black because black is not a color. We are black because we are the essence from which color comes. Black because we are the first life that came not with the universe, but before there was a sun, moon, and or star. We were there. And that's why neither the sun, moon, nor star can show the origin of the black man. You have to find the birth of water, the birth of earth, and the birth of electricity to find the birth of God and the birth of the original people. Your own scholars, your own white scholars tell you through their study of genetics that dark skin is dominant and light skin is recessive. I didn't write it. Dr. Mendel wrote it. Dr. Mendel said light eyes are recessive, meaning weak. And dark eyes are strong. Dr. Mendel said you can get the recessive from the dominant, but you cannot extract the dominant from the recessive. Well, what did Dr. Mendel mean? Dr. Mendel meant that if white people were first, we never could have come, because it is a biological, mathematical, physiological impossibility for two white people to produce anything other than themselves, so they are not the original people. You may say, I don't believe that. There goes that racist stuff. I'm just bringing your scholars to the witness stand. Dr. Leakey, one of the leading anthropologists in the world, looking for the origin of man, found it, as he thought, not in Europe. He found it in what is called Africa. And he found the bones of a man 750,000 years old who had a father, and he called his name Zinjanthropus. Anthropus from the Greek meaning man, and Zinj from the African language meaning black. Black man. And now some of your scholars who study DNA have traced the origin of all living things, not to the black man, but to the black woman as the mother of all living creatures. We, the original people, were builders before there was any such thing on the earth or such people on the earth as Caucasians. You are a new people on our earth.
All right.
Teacher, let us know the truth. Come on now.
And like all new things, you're busy discovering. A baby discovers a room in the house. It couldn't crawl before. So the baby got out the crib and started crawling around, discovered a new room. The parents didn't get excited. They bought the house. They built the house.
All right. All right.
You came and discovered America. How could you have discovered it when somebody was already here? You discovered it for yourself and your people. We already knew it was here and had plotted it out long before you were born, when the earth was once a part of the moon. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us over 66 trillion years ago.
Take your time.
The moon is nothing more than the twin part of the earth, but she has lost her water to this part, filled with deep caverns that once were seas. But the water of the moon fell on this part called earth. And now Now that part has no water. Because of her position and the light of the sun striking her, she tries to keep drawing from the earth what she lost. So she keeps equalizing the waters of the earth, so that the earth that is 3/4 water and 1/4 land approximately will never flood out and drown out civilization. But if water sought its level, it would do that were it not for the presence of the moon. But that moon is a dead planet, which you discovered when you got there, which our teacher told you before you got there, what you would discover when you got there. We got some brothers in Africa that are so wise, they plot the course of the stars and can tell you that one wasn't seen for 50,000 years. You don't know nothing about that because you weren't here then. But these people that you call jungle bunnies, we have civilization buried under the sands and under the jungle because we knew you were coming.
Yes, sir.
And we buried our high civilization under the sand so that you couldn't borrow from our wisdom, but you would have to use what God had given you to build what you think is a superior civilization, but it is quite inferior to what the original people built.
All right.
That's why Solomon said there is nothing new
All right.
under the sun.
That's right, sir.
We flew before. You think you're the only one that discovered flying? Stop it, man. We went to sleep in order to allow you to rule.
Listen good. Listen good.
Anybody can rule in a house where all the inhabitants in it are asleep. But try exercising your rule when the inhabitants of the house wake up. That's why they call Africa, the dark continent, a sleeping giant. They call China a sleeping giant. Well, what did we do when we were once awake? We built civilization.
All right.
Oh, builders.
Yes, sir.
Master builders who knew the science of the compass and the square. Talking to the wise among you.
All right. Speak, sir.
Master builders. Not just architects of Solomon's temple. Please. Solomon's temple is child's play. Solomon's temple is only a small sign of the master architect's ability. He's the architect of the universe, not Solomon's temple. Sol is the Latin for son. Sol Oman, the Son of Man.
Yes, sir.
He didn't come to build no little small temple in Jerusalem. When he awakens, he builds the kingdom of God. And that's why Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you. You who? And if the kingdom of God is within you, what is keeping the kingdom from coming out of you? A man was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. Jerusalem, the holy city. Jericho, the city of confusion. I've been to Jericho. Jericho looked like 47th Street in Chicago or 125th Street in Harlem. When I was in Jericho, I saw a lot of black brothers hanging out in Jericho. I said, no wonder Joshua picked the Battle of Jericho. It's true. I was over there and saw black people look like us. One man came riding out of the hills on an ass. Black, 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 black.
All right. Teacher.
I couldn't speak either Hebrew or Arabic. So my guide, a member of the Hebrew Israelites, living now in Arad and in Mitzpeh, Ramon, and in the desert in Demona. I said, ask him how long his people have been in what is called Israel. When he asked him, he said, I can't remember a time when we were not here. When he asked him, he said, I can't remember a time when we were not here. What they don't want to tell you is that whole holy area belonged to the original people. Black people inhabited the Holy Land until race mixing started. A little over 6,000 years ago, when the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and took them in marriage. Why the delineation, the sons of God and the daughters of men? Who is the God and who is the men? Who are the sons of God and who are the daughters of men? A man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among thieves. Dear masons and shriners, the whole basis of your wisdom begins with a master architect in the east, and people plotting against him hit him in the head and took him on a westerly course into the north country or the north corner, and they buried him in a shallow grave. A certain man went down. Why did he go down? Why didn't he go up? Because when you leave Jerusalem, that which is founded in peace, and go to a city of confusion, you're not going up, you're going down. And down represents hell, and up represents heaven, and that's why black folks sing, heaven is my home.
All right.
I'm just walking here below, but heaven is my home.
All right.
One day I'm going to put on my wings and I'm going to fly away. I'm going to fly away home. Home where you didn't come from the sky. But up and down are relative terms. Jerusalem was up because it was founded in peace.
Yes, sir.
Jericho down, a city of confusion. You were in Africa, building builders of civilization. You built the pyramids. It weren't built by straight-haired people. They were built by kinky-haired, broad-nosed, thick-lipped people. And white people call it the first wonder of the world because they wonder to this day how we did it. And like God leaving a sign in the desert, my people are going to sleep. My people are going out of existence. My people are going to go into a state of death for a while. But we're going to leave a sign of a pyramid. And on the stones in the pyramid, and in every measurement of the pyramid, we will be telling the story of our history. We will write it in hieroglyphics.
Yes, sir.
And the wise will read time and history when they learn to read the secret of this. And beside it, we'll put the body of a liar.
Yes, sir.
With the head of a black man sitting majestically in the desert.
All right.
With his paws outstretched. And we'll call it Abu el-Hawl, in Arabic meaning the father of everything. We'll just sit here in the desert like Job waiting for our change to come. We'll just sit here in the desert taunting the newcomers that no matter how high you go, your wisdom won't match the wisdom that it took to build these structures. And we won't only build them here in Egypt.
All right.
We'll build them in other parts of the world so you won't get the idea that our wisdom was limited to this local sphere. But when you discover and uncover what we have built, you will marvel in your secret chambers at the wisdom of the original people who now sleep in the dust of the earth, awaiting the time of the trumpet, that they may rise from their sleep and take control of their lives and get the children that they produced back in order, for they have run amok. And so we'll just sit here in the desert black and beautiful, awaiting our time. Napoleon went down there, and he saw that big, beautiful, majestic sphinx with broad noses like yours and mine, and thick lips like yours and mine, and he said, "Damn it. There's that nose again. How can I tell my lie that white people built this? That some Jewish people were enslaved in Egypt and built that? Don't hand me that stuff. We know your history.
All right.
That's why you don't like me.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Because I know you.
Yeah.
I know your origin in the world.
All right.
I know the thought that was the root of you.
All right.
And I would like to tell you about yourself.
That's right. Tell it.
But I wouldn't tell you about yourself in this audience for fear that they will think I'm making mockery. But I want to get you in a private room. And I want to tell you why you have killed the human beings of the earth more than any other human has ever slaughtered. White people have been the bloodshedder on the earth. I want to tell you why you're like that.
All right. Tell it.
And give you a window to get out
All right.
if you want to before it's too late. You hot with me because I know the truth that will set my people free. You're hot with me because not only do I know the truth, God has given me a heart
All right.
to tell it and a tongue to form the words in a majestic way that my people, even if they want to reject me, they can't do it because I make it so plain that a fool would find it hard to error. You're angry with me because you knew a man like me was coming one day. Now he's here. Yeah. And I thank God for the man that preceded me and taught me and shaped me and molded me and put me in his bosom and nurtured me. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
That's right, that's right.
A beautiful human being that God nurtured for you and me. I am his witness that he's a profound teacher. I'm just one of his students. Oh, beloved, you went to sleep, and the new man, Caucasian, was given the right, the authority, and the power to rule what he did not create.
That's right.
And God sent you prophet after prophet to show you how to rule what you did not create. But you were contrary. You rebelled against God. And you used your own way. And that's what's bringing about the day of judgment. Because your rule over your own people, as well as the dark people, has been an unjust and wicked rule. And you know that at some point in time, you got to reap what you sow.
All right.
That's the way it is.
Now to my Masons and Shriners, brothers. You, dear brothers, the bearers of light in a dark world, you think you're reading about Hiram, some strange mystical fella of yesterday, when you're only in the lodge learning about yourself. White people don't want you to integrate their lodge. You can integrate the bank. You can integrate the boardroom, but you haven't integrated the shrine. And they don't want you to come in the shrine because when you are in their shrine, they're not dealing with you as a symbol. They know who that's all about. They know it's about you. We allowed you, Caucasian, to wear our fez. That's not yours. And we made you tie the tassel down. Because if the tassel is free on that fez, it can swing and make a 360-degree circle. But we only gave you enough knowledge for 33 degrees, so you got to tie your tassel down. And we gave you the crescent moon, and we put a sword through it. Not for you, brother. The sword was for him, to remind him that any time he revealed a secret, his head would be taken with the sword. The sword was an emblem of justice. It was used in the time of the Prophet Muhammad. That's why he calls himself a Muslim son, a Muslim shriner. And he names his temples and shrines after the cities of the original people. Aleppo, Medina, Mecca. The sword was in the mouth of Jesus. A lamb would come, and out of his mouth would come a two-edged sword.
Speak, sir. Speak.
He wouldn't wield the sword like Muhammad used it in Muhammad's time, but his sword would be his tongue. And if you look at the tongue, stick it out, it comes to a point like a sword, sharp on both sides. When a man or woman knows the truth and will do justice, then out of his mouth will come a two-edged sword. Because it don't cut on one side and not on the other. Because justice don't know anything about your color. Justice only knows its response to truth.
Amen.
A certain man went down
Speak, sir.
from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among thieves. Black people once lived in Africa, what is called Africa, builders of civilization. And when the Europeans came to where we were, they saw our building. John Hawkins' father was one of those traveling Caucasians who went among the indigenous people of that which is called Africa. He knew that we were builders. We were the fathers of medicine, science, and mathematics, architecture, religion. We didn't need no Bible. The Bible is a Johnny-come-lately book. No, don't get angry with me, Reverend. Hell no, I don't want you to get angry. The Bible is like a drum teacher to a student that don't have it naturally. You see, the black man this black man, he got it all down in his soul. He ain't to learn rhythm, he is rhythm. He's not to learn mathematics, he is that. That's why he walks like a man float. That's why you have an Air Jordan, not because he wears Nike, but he's a black man that masters balance. Look at him come down the field and jug a man out of condition. Make a cut and move. White folk got to study for years to learn to do what the black man does coming naturally. Oh, you call Elvis Presley the king. But if he's the king, we the king maker. He's sitting around muddy waters, learning how to sing the blues. And all of a sudden he put a little wiggle to it. And white folks so knocked out that one of their own is singing blues. Oh, the king. The king. Elvis the king. Young black brothers came on the scene talking rap with a rhythm. And now the Beastie Boys got it. The white boys rapping now. But they're not going to admit we taught them. You didn't know nothing about no jazz. You didn't know anything about no gospel. We put life in everything we put our hand to. And we don't do it from no book. We do it out of the nature in which God created us. Religion don't come from no book. Religion comes from the soul. Religion is the gift of God. You don't see a spider sitting down, Mother Spider, saying, now, Junie Spider, on page 3 of the spider book, you learn to spin a web like this. You go 2 to the right, and then you... Come, little bee, and let me show you how to get some honey. You see, you go like this, and you take a little pollen, and you come back here. It comes right from the essence, from the inside out, never from the outside in. So it is with God. God don't come from the outside in. God is evolved from the inside out. And if you leave the original man alone, out of his nature will come true religion. And like the scholars who learn to dictate, the black man will say, white boy will say, now you do it like this. Bop, bop, bop. Diggy, 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 bop, bop, bop. Diggy, 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 bop, bop, bop. And then the white fella will go in the room and say, bop. Diggy, diggy, digga, digga. Da, diggy. Da, diggy. And then after a while, practice will get him into it. And then you'll see him sit down to the drum set. sudden he put a rhythm to it. And the other white people said, what? He got rhythm, y'all. And he becomes an instant star. Right? Learning from you what comes from you naturally. The Quran and the Bible are born from the nature of God and the nature of the original people. The principles upon which our very being is constructed. If a new people are on the earth, we want them to be successful, so we give them the principles that are inherent in our nature, but we give it to them in a book that is called Revelation. This is not yours naturally, so you study this.
Listen.
That's right. That's right.
And you continue to practice. And that's why Jesus said, before Abraham was,
All right.
I am.
Speak, sir.
I wasn't waiting on Abraham to teach me about the oneness of God. We knew that God was one way down in Egypt, tens of hundreds of thousands of years ago. But you didn't know that, so we put it in a book for you.
All right. All right.
And we sent you Abraham. That's why the Quran said we. It ain't God and some forces. I'm almost finished.
Speak, bro. Speak.
This is a book. It's a good book. It is good for us. Bible and Quran is good for us because we have lost the way now to our natural expression because a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and he fell among thieves that hit him in his head and robbed him of his raiment and left him wounded in the road. And here we are, hit in the head, brought to America
All right.
on a westerly course,
All right.
hit in the head,
All right.
where we now have amnesia.
Uh-huh.
Listen.
Speak.
What is your name? My name is John Patterson Johnson. My name is John Wilkes Booth III. My name is Lawrence Roundtree. No, 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 son. That's not your name. That's their name. Where's your name? Huh? What happened? You don't know your name. Speak to me in your language.
All right.
Oh, you can say, comment allez-vous aujourd'hui? Comment está usted? Sprechen Sie Deutsch. You can run it. But if somebody says, speak some sentence in your own original language, you will say, huh? How come you can't speak your tongue? How come you don't know your name? How come you don't have your culture? It sneaks through because they can't take it out of the genes. But if they could, they cut it out. They took from us the drum when we got here.
That's right.
Niggas don't drum.
Right.
But in Haiti, in the Caribbean,
All right.
in South America, right now, you can find black people who look like they've never been touched. They got their drum. And white folk didn't know that we had a talking drum. Morse code. Raka, dot, dot, dash, dot, dot, dot. Black man said, raka, tick. White folks is coming, daka, 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 daka. The Indians light a fire and send up a smoke signal. The boys wail up, read the cloud, and say, oh, Imosabe is in trouble. So when you got to America, they didn't want no drum business. He took away that drum. Against the law for you to beat a drum. It wasn't until in the 50s that you got a conga drum in your hand. When China Pozo started playing with Dizzy Gillespie. And you heard the Afro-Cuban rhythm. It touched something in your soul. You had a drum. It was a snare drum. But you were working wonders with that. But you had to put the message in another way. So you learned spirituals. Swing low, sweet chariot. You wasn't talking about no chariot. Coming for to carry me home. What you talking about? You know you wasn't home. Swing low. What you talking about? Swing low. Because I'm low now. Why are you low? Because a man went down. All right. From Jerusalem to Jericho. And he fell among thieves who hit him in his head. So swing down low, sweet chariot. Coming to carry me home. Home where? Oh, don't you want to go to that promised land where all is peace? My home is over Jordan. I just want to cross over into campground. Black folks singing.
Yes, sir.
Black folks sending signals. White folk had their church beating hell out of us. But they had their church hanging us, but they had their church raping us, but they had their Bible, but they locked the Bible and wouldn't denied us the right to read. So black folk got out in the fields saying, everybody talking about heaven ain't going to heaven. Heaven. Huh? White folks talking all this heaven talk. Well, hell, if you go to heaven, it'll be hell for us, because we know what you're going to have us doing. All right, nigga, get in there and wash them dishes. Get in there, nigga, wash my car. Tote that barge, lift that bale. Heaven would be just like America. And we'll be damned if we're going to let you mess up heaven like you messed up earth. Swing low, sweet chap. I'm almost finished, y'all. And so they brought us on a westerly course, and they hit us in the head, and they robbed us of our raiment. The fine knowledge in our culture that would have allowed us to resist them, they took off our clothes so we could not be clothed against the forces of their nature. And they sold us at auction after they killed mothers and fathers so that they couldn't pass on the knowledge of Africa.
Right.
And in our tradition as Muslims, we don't use the ram horn, we don't use the bell, we use the human voice. So you will hear the Muslim saying, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Meaning God is great. That's how we call the faithful to prayer. But on the plantation, when the mueddin would call, Kul a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, they would not allow that mother to call. They killed anybody heard praying in the original language. So the song comes up, and I couldn't hear nobody pray. David the psalmist says, by the rivers of Babylon we wept.
That's right.
When we remembered Zion. We hung our harps on the willow tree. Our joyful song had turned to mourning. And they that carried us away captive required of us mirth. And they that wasted us required of us a song, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. But they said, how can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? And God said to Abraham, know of a surety that your seed is going to be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. And they shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. But after that time, I, God, will come. And I will judge that nation which they shall serve. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance and go to their fathers in peace and be buried in a good old age. And here you are in a strange land among strange people. And like the prodigal son, you have squandered all of the intelligence of God. And now you've fallen down feeding swine and husking corn. Corn husk is the food for swine. And in your father's house, you wouldn't have a pig nowhere around. But now you've fallen so low, you've become the 2 Live Crew. You've become filthy McNasty, feeding the swine appetite of the American people for filth and degeneracy. So now the gift of God has been corrupted. So you sing, give me that thing. I want to love you, baby, all night long. The people of God now using their talent to feed the funk of a nation. So much so that today you can't stand nobody to be clean around you. You've become so low down in your newfound state of ignorance that when a man will speak cleanly and speak of God and refuse to drink or party or misuse a woman, you won't say he's right. You'll ask him, what's wrong with you? You've become the prodigal son. But a famine arose in the land. And the prodigal son began to remember his father's house. Remember. Amnesia is forget. But once you begin to remember who you are and who your father is, you say, I think I will arise. And go to my father. And when you arise, you know you've been sinful. And you'll say, Father, I have sinned. And I'm no longer worthy to be called thy son. Just let me come in and just be around the house as one of your servants or hired hands. I don't want to be nothing. Just let me in, Father. And the father will say, son, to your brothers, come on, get the fatted calf and kill it for him. Get the ring and put it on his finger. Get the robe and drape it on him. But the brother will say, why are you doing that for him? You done went over there in America, living the life of strangers, whoring and going on. Why are you doing this for him? He said, rejoice, boy. For this that was lost is now found. This that was blind can now see. This that was dead is alive now. Forevermore a man went down. But the Good Samaritan was traveling in that same direction. Nobody could raise Hiram but the one that had the master grip.
Listen now.
It was a lion's paw.
Yeah.
Why a lion's paw? Because a lion was in the desert, sleep. And the Bible said there's a lion asleep in Judah. Who will wake him? A pussycat can't wake up a lion. You can't come around no lion because you're in the cat family meowing when you should be roaring. Some of you stepping tight.
Come on.
Wake up, y'all. Come on now, let's get it all together. Come on, boys and girls, let's get it all together now. The poor black man sitting down, he's repulsed. He needs to hear a lion. Marcus Garvey was a lion. Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey were lions. Malcolm X and Martin King were lions. No pussycat can awaken you. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad not only is a lion, but he makes lions.
Yes, sir. All right.
And I don't think you can say that the pussycat is here talking tonight. This is a lion with a master grip. And I don't care what condition you're in, when this grip get a hold to you, you're coming up out of your grave. And you'll stand up on the square. And you'll make a circle of divine brotherhood. And when the rubbish is removed and the debris is moved from the foundation of the nature of God in you, then the kingdom of God will begin to come up out of you. A man went down, and the priest walked by on the other side. The Pope of Rome, the Catholic Church, white Christianity. You see my people in this condition.
Yes, that's right.
But you walk by
That's right. That's right.
on the other side. You saw them in their hurt, and you knew they were wounded. The oil of the scripture you did not pour in their wounds.
All right.
You put them on a spaceship, and you told them that the kingdom was in the sky. And they would get it only after they die, when you know that death settles it all, and none of them are coming back from the grave to say whether you lied or told the truth. So you make us work to build a heaven for you while you live, but we got to get ours after we're dead. Been hit in the head, brother. And the church walked by on the other side. You didn't allow us to worship in your church. And when you decided it wasn't incompatible for us to be Christians and slaves at the same time, you set up the black church in the field. And then you saw an eloquent black slave and you called him in and said, son, come. Now, if you preach what I tell you, you can come round the big house and I'll give you a buttered biscuit and a piece of chicken. Allow you to wear the master's tails and his top hat. What am I to preach, master? Preach this. Servant, be good to your master. Servant, don't steal from your master. Servant, love your enemy. Pray for those that despitefully use you. And if they take your coat, give them your pants. Preach that kind of doctrine and you'll be all right with us. And right to 1990 in Columbia, South Carolina.
All right. Bless you, sir. Bless you.
If you got loyal, obedient servants of white people, you're called a good pastor by white people.
That's right.
The mayor of the city will invite you for coffee and tea.
That's right. That's right.
And when they have their big breakfasts, you can say the prayer.
That's right.
Don't try to advise the mayor because he don't need your advice. Just pray, nigga.
That's right. That's right. Farrakhan. Speak there, people.
When you try to be like Dr. King and take your message out of the church into the streets,
That's right.
then they say you're a troublemaker and they do to you what they did to Jesus. They bring you into court under trumped up charges.
Come on, all right.
Like they're doing all black politicians and black leaders today. They're setting upon our leaders to rob you of strength. But dear Reverends, you are the key to the whole problem. The pastors can be the best force for the liberation of our people if the pastor would preach the gospel without fear. Preach the book, because in the book there's salvation if you know how to feed it to the people. Lord, if you would just preach without fear and really put your trust in God and know that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Know that it is He who maketh us to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth us beside the still waters. He restoreth our soul. He leads us in the path of righteousness, not for white folks' name's sake, but for His name's sake. And then, yea, though you walk in the valley of the shadow of death, you won't fear the arrow that comes by day or the one that flies by night, for you will be shadowed under the wings of the Almighty, and you will say, He spread a table for me in the presence of mine enemies. He anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever and ever. A good Samaritan did come. But brothers and sisters, the Levite showed sympathy, but didn't do anything. Now, I don't want you to call me anti-Semitic, but the Jewish people that are in the audience, I'm talking to you now.
All right. Listen, too. Come on.
Come on.
Get it.
You see, the Aaronic priesthood are the Levites.
Yes, see.
That means the Jewish people.
All right.
You show sympathy to us,
Yes.
but you don't pour no oil.
All right.
You come near us and say, it's a shame.
That's right. Speak the truth, brother.
We all are suffering people. You shake your head,
That's right.
but you keep on going.
Yes, that's right.
I charge you
Charge them, brother.
with knowing the truth,
That's right.
but keeping the truth to yourself. You don't share it with your Gentile brothers,
That's right. That's right.
and you have never shared it with us. You know that Moses lifted you,
That's right.
and you know how he lifted you. You know, though you're small in number, you know how to maximize your strength economically and politically, but you never shared that with us. We lay wounded in the road, and you did not do the neighborly thing. Yes, you hired us. You asked us, do you do windows? And we washed your windows, we cleaned your floors, we took care of your babies, and you were kind. You gave us a salary, very cheap. You worked the hell out of us for nothing. Then when your children wore out their clothes and their shoes, you put them in a bag and you gave them to my mama and other people's mama, and they brought them home, and we thought you were real nice people.
That's right, brother.
Yes.
Whenever we are talented, you are right there. I'll be your agent, I'll be your manager. But we die poor on drugs, and you die leaving millions to your children, and we leave nothing to ours, but you say you are our friend. No, you pass by on the other side. You left us wounded in the road. You were not a good neighbor.
That's right. That's a fact. Go ahead, sir. Speak, sir.
But one came from the east.
Come on. All right.
As it is written in the book of Matthew, as lightning shines from the east even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the eagles are gathered together, there shall the carcass be. The carcass is the remains of a once mighty people. Ezekiel described them as dry bones in the valley, who once had sinews, who once had flesh, but now the bones are disconnected from one another, and the bones are speaking. Listen to what they're saying. They say, our hope is lost, our bones are dried. We are cut off from our part. In other words, translation, it means a nigga ain't nothing. Black folk ain't never gonna get together. We can't never do nothing right. Black folk ain't never gonna get together. Ain't nothing gonna help us. That's your talk. And that's a man thinking. So is he. And they, your tormentors, made you hate your color. So you bleach your skin to be like theirs. Some of you are so hateful of your blackness, on New Year's Day you don't want nobody black to be the first one in your house. Some of you are so hateful. If you marry somebody too black, you don't want to have babies because you don't want to bring nothing black into a world that hates black. So when you happen to cohabit with a white man and have sex with a white man and have a half-white baby, you show off your little mulatto baby like you're something proud. Look at my baby. Look at my baby. So the light-skinned ones among us walk around arrogant because we're lighter. Our hair's curly. Our nose is less thick. You saw what they did to the nose on the Sphinx. Well, I ain't got that kind of nose, so I ain't got to train no cannon on me. My nose looks something like your nose, white folk. My lips look something like yours. And now you try to be white. Now they can sell you blue eyes and sell you green eyes, and you buying eyes now and trying to show white people you as white as they are. So bleach up your hair, then you blonde your hair, then you try to show them, see me, I'm white. And if God bless you with a hair that's a little bit longer, you really show out. So some of your poor sisters and brothers, if they did that, they'd break their neck because their hair is so short. So they got them now plaited, you know, with extensions so they can do that. You want to be white, don't you? The first time a white woman smiles at you, you get all beside yourself. She smiled at me. I think she was looking at me, you know, sitting in front of the TV. They're trying to sell a bathtub, but she's in it with bubble bath just to the bottom of the breast. And you straining, hoping a bubble will bust. Your poor black woman, she's so hurt, so wounded, so disrespected, so despised, so rejected. She sits around at home, eating 3 meals a day, then all in between meals, getting herself all obese. Now she's walking with her stomach down on her knees. And you know they don't style clothes, you know, for us. They style them for them that got flat posteriors. So you got on a skirt all hiked up in the back, down in the front. Poor sisters. They tell me in Colombia, if you're an aristocratic white man, you're supposed to have a black woman as your mistress.
Right. That's right. Come on now. Right.
I didn't know nothing about it. I learned that since I've been here. So many of these white men that claim how liberal they are. They're not liberal to the black man. They're liberal to the black woman that gives them favors. No, sweetheart. Don't come in the front door. Come round the back. I don't want nobody to see me with you. You providing favors for the man. He's using black women.
That's right.
He knows how to sweeten things up for you. He talks soft to you while your own black man is a rough-talking fella. Hey, baby. Shut up. Shut up. His manhood is not in his brain. Therefore, if he can't control you here, he'll bust you in your mouth with his fist. So he's a woman abuser. But the white man comes like that serpent, slipping up next to you with his tongue flicking out. Hi, Sadie. How are you? You look so dejected, Sadie. What's the problem? Well, next thing you know, you're in his bed. We're sick people. I don't want you to leave, but in my conclusion, We have become so hateful of ourselves that in the major cities of America, we are killing ourselves in unprecedented numbers. In the war in Vietnam, 55,000 American soldiers were killed. 35% of that number were black. 35% of 55,000 is 19,250 approximately. Black names are on that Vietnam War Memorial. That's over a 9-year period. One human being is murdered in America once every 24 minutes. So by the end of this year, approximately 23,000 human beings will have lost their lives due to murder. And 55% of that number will be black. 55% of 23,000 is a little over 12,000 black people in 1 year. So what does that tell you? If we lost 19,250 in the jungles of Vietnam over a 9-year period, and this year alone we will lose over 12,000 people due to murder, and 96% of that number will have been killed by one of their own. So what that tells us is that it is safer for us to rear our children in an actual war zone in the jungles of Vietnam than to rear our children on the streets of the inner cities of America. A white woman has one chance in 606 of leaving this world through murder. A white man has one chance in 186 of leaving this world by means of murder. A black woman has one chance in 126 of leaving this world by means of murder. But a black male has one chance in 21. Young black men are killing young black men. Why? Why? You're dying, beloved. Any doctor that's in the house will tell you poverty in the black community is our #1 killer. We're so poor, we can't get adequate dental care, adequate health care. So we don't eat proper food. So we're dying from stroke, dying from high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney disease, cirrhosis of the liver. We're dying from AIDS in unprecedented numbers. And violence due to drugs is on the increase, but domestic violence is taking the biggest toll. We are fighting each other in the home, and what you're fighting over, you're fighting over the fact that the black man can't find adequate employment. His sex drive, which is a gift of God, makes him to relate to the woman, but then she has children, and every time she has a child, subconsciously he knows that's his duty to take care of it. But when he goes to downtown Columbia looking for a job, he just graduated from Benedict, they tell him, oh, you're overqualified. And if you're not overqualified, you're underqualified. So they hire the black woman. So they kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They've hired a woman and a minority. So the black male is out of a job. He's out of a position. He has no money. He cannot show that he's a man. He cannot take care of his responsibility. So stress mounts.
That's right.
Until it depletes the normal production of drugs from the brain that quiet him, that send him to sleep, that relieve him from pain. So now the drug merchant comes in the community and says, I know you're in pain. Take some of this. We didn't make any crack. They made it and brought it to us. And they know that crack goes right to the pleasure center of the brain and grabs you. And then they put the Uzi in your hand or the AK-47. And now you got to protect your territory. So your little gang banging days that were back in the 50s are now gangs with guns. And somebody behind the scenes is pulling the strings. Like Paul says, we war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and the rulers of the darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. Bush, like a modern Pharaoh, sees the children of Israel multiplying. Even though we're sick, even though we're unhealthy, even though we're degenerate. It seems like every time we have sex, there's a baby coming. And white people do everything in their power, plot the time and the course and get the right fertilization drugs. Let's ingest it, and they work and they work and they work and nothing happens. So they borrow the womb of somebody and say, please, let me have a child. I'm not making mockery. I'm telling you the truth. God is diminishing the birth rate of white people and accelerating the birth rate of black people. Why? For what reason? God told them through Moses, if you obey the statutes, laws, and commandments that I give you this day, blessed will you be in the city, blessed in the country, blessed will be your basket, blessed will be your store, blessed will be the fruit of the ground, blessed will be the fruit of the womb. But if you disobey me, cursed shall be the fruit of the womb. Cursed shall be the fruit of the ground. Yes, sir. And now, diminishing birth rate of whites, acceleration of your birth rate, and Pharaoh saying, come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and join on to an enemy and come against us. So Pharaoh hatched a plan to kill all the male members of the children of Israel and spare the female. That's not something for yesterday. That's going on right now as we speak. The black male is an endangered species. Black brothers, right, come on. Don't you join no ROTC. Yes, sir. Black brothers, don't you join the army. So you can be all that you can never be in the society. They promise it to you in the army, but don't fight for Pharaoh because Pharaoh's army got drowned. Pharaoh's army is now in the Gulf. Pharaoh's army is now in the desert. God said, come with me out in the desert. I want to speak with you there. Go ahead, Bush. But don't send my son. If you want war, Mr. Bush, since your son is involved in the S&L scandal, why don't you take your son and send your son to Saudi Arabia? Send the sons of the rich. Leave the poor black, the poor Chicano, and the poor white who have nothing to gain from the war. Because they're not fighting to protect America. They're fighting to protect the wealth of the rich of America. This lying hypocrite, Bush, come on and speak on this. He wants to stop aggression. Liar! Last year this time, he brought out the stealth bomber and went down into Panama and killed from 4,000 to 7,000 blacks and mestizos just to get Noriega. Was that aggression? Was that a violation of international law? Yes, sir. The Constitution of the United States says that Congress alone has the power to declare war. Though the president is the commander-in-chief, once war is declared, not before. But since World War II, they have not declared a war. We died in Korea, and they called it police action. Well, hell, we didn't come here to be no police. We died in Vietnam. Over 500,000 American soldiers over there. They never declared a war. And Bush fabricated an incident in the Gulf of Tonkin to widen the war, and then lost the war. Johnson, pardon me. Same thing. America has not won a war since World War II. The Chinese beat the hell out of America in Korea. They got all the way to the Yalu River, and the Chinese came across in sneakers and trumpets and ran the American soldiers back to the 38th parallel. And they called it a truce and divided it and said North Korea and South Korea. The Vietnamese beat the hell out of the French at Dien Bien Phu. And the Americans couldn't take a lesson from that. They jumped in. And Ho Chi Minh and the boys came down from the north. Because you wasn't interested in how those Asians fight. You with your silly, dumb cave mentality. We'll get up in the air and we'll bomb them people back into the Stone Age. So Nixon and Johnson sent wave after wave after wave of bombers, and the people had underground cities. They just went underground, and when the bombs stopped falling, they came on up. American soldiers weren't used to nothing like that. They booby-trapped you in the jungles. And then we saw you running, trying to grab onto helicopters, trying to get the hell out of Vietnam because they were coming. And you left so much war material in Vietnam that the Vietnamese army captured and became the fourth most well-equipped army in the world with what you left behind running. Now Mr. Bush wants to make up for it. Well, go ahead, Mr. Bush. But I warn you, Mr. President, with all due respect, you're the head of the nation. But you can't see, Mr. President. You are like Pharaoh, blinded by your own arrogance and false pride in your so-called power. And if you don't frighten Saddam Hussein, as any sane man would be frightened to see the whole world at his back door. So he's either crazy or he knows something. There ain't no way in hell you would stand with David facing Goliath. And Goliath talked just like Bush. Come on out. We'll cut you too short to sit down. Come on out. But little David took 5 smooth stones from a brook. And he didn't need 5, he only did it with 1. And he wound up his stone in his slingshot, like the boys in the Intifada.
Yes, right.
And he let it go, and it hit big old Goliath. Yes. And when he fell, David took his sword and cut his head off with his own sword. Don't get too happy about your power, Pharaoh. That's right. Because there was one like you before you. He drowned in the Red Sea. That's just on the other side of the Gulf. You see, it's not a Red Sea, but the Red Sea represents blood from revolution and war. But God said he would part the Red Sea for his servants. You stay out of it, black man.
That's right.
If they call you, just tell them. Let me tell you what to tell them. If they say greetings to you, you say greetings to you. When I needed a student loan, when I needed a job, you didn't do nothing for me. Don't send me no greeting now. I don't accept your greeting. Well, you're a citizen and you've got to fight. No, sir. You asked me my name. I told you James Jones. That should have told you I was sick. I made a mistake. I signed up because I didn't know you and I didn't know myself and I didn't know the time. But now, I know you and I know myself and I know the time and I know that I am of the righteous and I will not take part in a war that takes the lives of humans, particularly when they haven't done anything against me. And you are the enemy that deprived me. Here in America, what do I look like fighting Saddam Hussein when you are the one that have blocked me in every way? Saddam Hussein ain't done a damn thing to me. If they say, if you don't go, we'll put you in jail. Say, sir, I was born in jail. America has been nothing but a jail to me and my people for 436 years. But now the wound in my head, there's oil in it now. I'm standing up now. I may have my bandage on my head because it's not completely healed, but I'm healed enough to know that I met a man named Jesus. All right. And I'm not going to study war no more. That's your thing. You started it. Come on. You go finish it. Come on. Now, I know it's going to take some courage for you to say that. Because you still believe that this man got power over you. But he don't have no more power over you than the power that you give him by your being afraid of him. This book, Quran, said, if the white man, it don't use the term white man, but it said, if they whom you worship, that's the white man. Took a morsel of bread away from a gnat, that which you worship don't have the power to call the gnat back to bring it its morsel of bread. So if Bush cannot command a gnat to obey his call, what do you look like as a servant of God obeying his call? The Quran said he only called you and you obeyed him. Now you stop obeying him because he's calling you to use you. Now he got our women over there in the desert, their babies home in America, and some of their fathers with a baby bottle, and their mothers in the desert to die for what? So that Bush can dictate the price of oil? Yes. Stop the killing. So as I leave you, I want you, beloved, to start looking at yourself as family. members of the original people. Don't run. We're going to get out of here. You just take your time and don't push. You'll get out. Whether you're Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalian, Catholic, Sunni, Shiite, Muslim, we are one family. We cannot let denominations divide us anymore, one from the other. We can't let the fact that some of you are Alpha, some of you are Omega, some of you are Delta, Sigma, Kappa, don't let that divide you any further. For the Master said, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord. Respect yourself. Love yourself. Love your women. Honor them. Protect them with your life. And then, when anybody asks you, who is my neighbor? Then you can tell them who never poured no oil in your wound. I went to the gymnasium one night, and I met a man that you said was evil. And I stayed with him for 2 hours. And he ministered unto me. And he poured the sweet oil of knowledge in my head. And he put a bandage around it so the oil wouldn't slip out. And he stood me up with a master grip. And so I'm going to love God with all my heart, soul, and mind. And I'm going to love my neighbor as myself. And now I know who my neighbor is. And from this day forward, now that oil is put in my wound till my cup runneth over, I'm going to take some of that runs over. And when I see my brother who was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho and got hit in the head, I'll, instead of walking by on the other side, I'll go to him with love and pour oil in his wound and stand him up, because our time has come. Thank you for listening, and may God bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Thank you. Brothers and sisters, can we have prayer together?
Yes, sir.
And if you have a few moments,